coming at you on demand from the heart of Europe. This is the most badass hockey podcast in all the known land. This is A Shot from the Point with your hosts, Tommy C. and Dead On Dave. It's May 20th, 2012. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Shot from the Point. Dead On Dave is with me. He is on the cusp of an absolute fantastic dead-on prediction. If the Los Angeles Kings are able to overcome tonight, Dead On Dave will have another perfect prediction. The problem is the Coyotes are up 1-0 at this point. What do you think?
Yeah, it upsets me. The gods are not going to allow me to have my due.
I told you that game's tough to win.
It is, but the Kings have been so damn good.
Kings win the Stanley Cup. Don't worry about it.
I'm pretty sure about that. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're up. They're actually. Oh wow! It's 13. Last report I got, it's 13:35 when this was recorded. Phoenix is up 1-0. You know, it might be a little it's nerves too, because it's not like going from the first to second round. You're going to the Stanley Cup final.
This is big. This is a big time.
I took Kings in 6. It's looking like 5. My original choice was probably a better idea, and what have you. So, before we get into the Rangers, let's get into the Rangers. What do you think?
Well, winning. Winning is a good thing. I think I hate to use a Charlie Sheen-ism, but winning. Here's what I take away from it. Right now, the Rangers look way better than the Devils. I mean, in the Devils win, it had to do with just complete random redirection. Well, on one of the goals, the other one was pretty skillful, but in the two Rangers win, it's been domination, 3-0. They've frustrated the hell out of the Devils until they just break. They've been able to find that breaking point, and it doesn't seem, even though the Rangers are exhausted, they don't seem to have that same breaking point. And that's a very good thing going forward, not just in this series, but in the next series possible as well.
Well, I tell you what, before I get into my Ranger talk, I want to tell you a story. As you know, I'm still somewhat connected to the United States Army, right, Dave?
Yes.
And I had drill this weekend, which poses a problem because if the game was on like it normally is, at 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning at our time, I wouldn't have been able to see it. But thankfully, the hockey gods smiled and they played it, 12 o'clock Eastern Standard over there. That makes it, or 2, was it? Yeah, it was 2 o'clock Eastern Standard. That makes it 7 o'clock our time. So I'm at drill and I'm staying at the Ramstein Inn. If you don't know where that is, it's in Ramstein. The Army just built this huge facility over there as far as a mall. It looks like Little America. And I stay in the Ramstein Inn. First, I get my stuff. I get all my gear off. I throw my Adidas on. I run downstairs. And I have my first beer of the day, which is absolutely fantastic. And start watching the game. Of course, everybody's like really hyped up about the Champions League final, which I don't know if you know what happened there. And and everybody's really ready for the soccer game. And I'm like hogging this one little television to myself. And I drank 2 beers. I'm getting tired. So I was like, you know what? Why don't I just go back to my room because these people are just confusing me. I go up to my room. I start to see it, that pressure that you saw in Game 1, that the tightness that forces the Devils to kind of scramble. And I think that's going to be the key to the series, by the way. And the first goal goes in, and I think to myself, you know what? A second goal would really put them away. Because I don't know if you noticed, but Marty was standing on his head most of the game. He had to make some amazing... That game probably should have been 6-0. And Marty really played well. And the second goal goes in, I was like, you know what? I think we got it. And I fell asleep. I fell asleep. I did not see.
Well, you fell asleep. It's not like you missed anything, so it's okay.
Well, that's the thing. I wake up at 12 o'clock, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, oh God, I bet they lost. So I had to make a phone call. I had to call back to town here. I was like, please tell me the Rangers won. And then every time my girlfriend would answer, the phone would kind of like buzz out. It was it was a frigging nightmare. But going back to what you were saying before, I think with the rest time, and I think it's really clear with the rest time that the Rangers had. And the Devils skated well. You could see it right away. They came out, they skated well. Both teams skated well. Low scoring game. As soon as the Rangers are able to add their offensive pressure and keep their defense together, the Devils collapse. They start to scramble and they start to run around in their own zone. The Rangers, and I think I'm saying this objectively. I think they're actually a better hockey team.
They are
man for man. I think the stuff you saw in Game 2 is just exhaustion, and once you get them in an even playing field, they don't have the offense that's going to penetrate, and we got scoring from our forwards, and I think we're unbeatable with scoring our forwards. And I know if this, let's say the Rangers win the Stanley Cup, even if they don't, they might, and it's happened before. Henrik Lundqvist will probably get the MVP.
Well, it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
When two teams are matched up evenly, and I'm not even saying that they are. I think the Rangers are definitely a better team. But the way that they played in Game 3 and most of Game 1 and 2, to be honest, until the Devils got broken, there's still one thing that is always the same with the Rangers is they have not only the best player on the ice in Lundqvist, but they have, and that's just goalie, but the real best player on the ice, it might be Kreider.
I think you could definitely say that in this series. Kreider is making not only goals, he's making key goals. And over and over again, you see Kreider's name. And a lot of it's because he's young and the situation that he came into and what have you. And just being thrown from college to playoffs. And that's an interesting story in itself. But he's scoring key goals.
Scored in every game this series.
Yeah, and he just seems to be getting better as it goes along. Kreider is killing the Devils. I don't know if they know that. I don't know if they're taking him seriously. Maybe he's just a rookie. But Kreider's really making it difficult. And if this goes on and he's able to do this, I know Lundqvist will get the MVP just because he's a superstar and Kreider isn't yet. But
you think if Kreider has a hat trick in the next game or two, you think that will actually still hold?
No, because I've seen it before. They give the Conn Smythe Trophy to players that they want to promote. And a perfect example of this, and I'm going to piss off a lot of Ranger fans right now because we're going to go back and dig into history. Brian Leetch in 1994 did not deserve the Conn Smythe Trophy. He got it very simply because he was the highest scoring player in the playoffs. That does not necessarily mean you've led your team. Now, Leetch played well. Without Leetch, they couldn't have won the Stanley Cup. There's absolutely right. But who could say that Mark Messier wasn't the driving force for that 1994 team? I mean, it's unarguable. So Lundqvist is a superstar. That's who they're going to promote. It'd be interesting to see if Kreider did have a hat trick, if he did do something amazing, if he did do something heroic, and they still handed it over to Lundqvist. Now, here's another thing: this trophy's up for grabs, and the Rangers haven't won the Stanley Cup. But this is all theoretical. I mean, you can see Dustin Brown win. Dustin Brown could easily win this thing. Peter Sikora could easily win this thing. It's wide open. But I just want to kind of call this out now. If the Rangers are able to get past the Devils, and I'm not 100% sure they will.
I think they will.
I'm not confident yet. I think
they're playing better hockey in all three games. They may have lost game 2, but I still like the way they played, and they were exhausted. I think they're the better team.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Does the Devils have less exhaustion because they got through their last opponents relatively easily?
They didn't play as many games as no one's played as many games as the Rangers.
Like I still think there's question marks. I still think that, but just flipping back to what I was talking about though, if Kreider's able to, it'd be interesting to see who gets the Conn Smythe Trophy under what circumstances, and if Kreider keeps scoring, and somehow the Rangers are able to pull this off, which would be a pretty big deal, a really big deal. It'd be really interesting to see who gets it, and I guarantee you it wouldn't be Kreider, no matter how he plays. Example, Brian Leetch in 1994, highest scoring defenseman. They needed to give it to an American to promote the game. Messier was the most valuable player on the ice in every series. It's undeniable.
I just thought of something else, too. Mm-hmm. And you know what? If I'm okay with it if Lundqvist does get it, because the Rangers have won 3-0 in both their wins.
Sure.
But the O is important there. Lundqvist has been the great wall of Lundqvist.
Well, it'd be hard to argue. It'd be hard to argue that he shouldn't have it. To be perfectly honest with you, you could make a good case. But it's just one of those things. Like I remember flipping to the New York Yankees. I think it was it 95? It might have been 96. When the year they gave it to John Wetland, the MVP to John Wetland.
Yeah.
John Wetland didn't deserve that. You know who deserved that? His kid plays baseball now, and he's becoming a big superstar. It's Cecil Fielder.
Oh,
He
okay.
hit one home run after. Now, nobody even remembers that Cecil Fielder was on the Yankees.
No.
But I don't remember the year. It might have been 90. It was either 90. I think it might have been 97. I'm not. My baseball stuff isn't as good as my hockey. But Cecil Fielder got all the key home runs, but he wasn't really a well-known Yankee, and the media was all wrapped around John Wetland, who is he even a Hall of Fame guy, John Wetland?
I'm pretty sure no.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's just I want to stop this conversation right now, but I definitely, if something goes, like if some miracle goes on, the Rangers go on to win this, I want this remembered, what we talked about right now. But let's get back.
Before we move on, one more thing.
Sure.
I think the longer it goes,
Mm-hmm.
the longer the series goes, the better it looks for Kreider.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Well, we'll keep that in mind. But yeah, Kreider would have to be considered. I want to bring this up now early, just because so it sounds like freaking cool. Like, oh my God, they were talking about that in May. Yeah, we were talking about that in May.
We're way above the time.
Because we're the best, most badass MFers in the whole.
We're the next level of hipsters. We're hipsters before hipsters are going to be hipsters again. Cool.
Exactly. I mean, how can you be hip before you're hip? You know why you listen to this show. That's how you do it.
That's right.
That's
there
right.
You go.
But going on to the Rangers, going back to the Rangers, I think the game 1 and 2 are near identical. You see the Rangers broke out in the third period. The Rangers broke out in the third period in both games. I started to see that pressure late in the second. And if they're able to apply that pressure and the Devils can't recover by just, literally skating around like with chickens with their heads cut off, they can beat this team. I think with the rest of the series, you have to look at the first team who's going to score will probably more than likely win the game. You saw that in a lot of Ranger games. If the Rangers score first, more than likely they're going to win. In these tight defensive games, if the Devils score first, that means they've broken through Big Blue. That means they'll probably go on to win the game. And
more likely,
I think that's what you're going to see with those good old New York Rangers. I'm sorry if I sound kind of like run down. I am. I took a PT test today.
Uh-oh.
Oh God, I'm completely wrecked. But I've been so excited to talk about hockey, and then we got this new technology going on right now. This should sound great, right?
Cutting edge technology. We are there. We are with the hip crowd now.
You know what it is? You said cutting edge technology, and it cut out just as you said it. So that's perfect that we got.
Of course it did.
Of course it did when you said cutting edge technology.
We might as well be talking on two cups connected by a friggin' string, Tommy. It's horrible.
Oh man, I just want to update everybody what happened. The Ranger thing is pretty much. I think me and Dave pretty much covered everything you can cover. With
the horse is dying as we speak.
I don't think. I'm not sold with the Rangers. It's going to be a 1-2-3 thing, but I still think it's going to be a long series. I still think it's going to go 7, but I would imagine the Devils have to go back and kind of question how they're going to get through that, get through the Ranger defense. And there is one thing we have to talk about how well Brodeur played, because Brodeur played fantastic.
He did.
He's made really the biggest saves of the playoffs. With the Scorpion save, they're now calling it. Which I think he's done some of those kind of east to west saves we've seen there to key. That game probably should have been 5-0, and he kept it from being down. I honestly didn't see the third goal. I'm really sorry. Just happened to do it with my schedule, but it does seem like if we're beating the New Jersey Devils when Brodeur's on top of his game, and I think he looks better now than he did in the last 2 series.
Yeah, he looks like he's up for this series.
Absolutely. And you can tell by some of his comments that he's making to the media.
Yeah,
this series, this is aggravating him because he probably knows it's
just
over.
A little bit.
Yeah, I can't say I'm too sorry to see that.
Yeah, I'm sure you're crying tears on the inside.
It's tears of joy. Actually, a buddy of mine who I've reconnected with via Twitter recently. There you go. There's my little Twitter sound. He sent me some interesting. You remember I made a comment about Brodeur's marrying his sister, his wife's sister. That's not exactly true.
I wasn't gonna go along. I was gonna go away
No,
from
but
it.
I isolated the story. By the way, he married. I knew I was half right. He married his sister's brother's wife, his brother-in-law's wife.
I am your father's brother's uncle's nephew's former roommate.
and that brings me. He goes. He says to me, he goes, "Do you hear what they're cheering over there?" And I'm like, "No, I haven't really been paying. I just, I figured they were just yelling Marty, Marty." He says, "They're not yelling Marty, Marty. They're yelling Uncle, Daddy." I'm dead
No,
serious, man. The Guard fans are awful. They're
that is
yelling
awesome.
Uncle, Daddy.
That's horrible.
It's freaking horrible. Yeah.
What is wrong with you New Yorkers?
Just a lot.
I know that.
You Chicago guys are way tamer than us, I guess. I mean, Uncle Daddy.
Because we're crying most of the time. You don't know how lucky you are to be a New York sports fan. I have to suffer while you have 26 championships in baseball, you prick.
Well, you finally won one over in Chicago.
But I don't count that. I don't
not?
count because it's the White Sox.
Why
I don't
don't count the White Sox?
Because I wouldn't shed a tear if they collapsed the fucking team. Excuse my language. I hate the White Sox. See, you made me drop an F-bomb on the White Sox.
But they're Chicago.
And they're sweeping my Cubs right now in the crosstown rivalry. You don't want to get me going here. Keep me from the edge, my friend. Don't put any knives in my vicinity right now.
I figure we gotta liven up the show a little bit. Uncle Dad. The best chant I ever heard, and I don't know what soccer team it was. It might have been Manchester United, and I don't even remember the name of the player, but that's not important. They in England and Europe, they sing songs at soccer.
Yeah.
Well, they sang a song. What they usually do is to Guantanamera, they'll sing something like "There's only one Wayne Rooney. There's only one Wayne Rooney."
Yeah, they got the only one Ricky Hatton. Yeah, I've heard all those.
Yeah, whatever. It's lame. But I did hear something funny. There was some, and it might have been Manchester. It more than likely was Manchester. There's my tweet again. It more than likely was Manchester. What they had was a player that in the media had apparently seen a psychiatrist, right?
Huh.
And it got out, unfortunately, for him. And when he went to Manchester, let's say the guy's name was Billy Smith, they were saying, "There's only two Billy Smiths." There's only two Billy Smiths. That's cruelty beyond levels I don't even understand.
But if you want to go to the best cheering that you'll hear, the best sayings you'll hear from a crowd, and it's borderline if you want to call it a sport. I call it a sport because I love it, and that's in wrestling. Yeah. They call people Hoskies. The crowd does. It's fantastic.
I've been to a few wrestling matches.
30,000 people calling someone a hoskie or a slut or an asshole. It's fantastic.
Well, they got all that from ECW because that's from my area, ECW. That's where they got. Yeah, a lot of that more crass chanting.
Since you brought it up, let's test your ECW knowledge.
Sure.
What did ECW originally stand for?
East Coast Wrestling.
Ah, there we go.
Pretty good, huh?
That was an easy one, but I thought I'd give you a little bit of a...
Yeah, then Paul Heyman bought it and turned it into...
Paulie Dangerously back then, baby.
Paulie Dangerously. I went to high school with a guy named Valente. Does that mean anything to you?
For some reason, yeah, it does. It definitely...
Big Sal Graziano. Does that mean anything? That was his brother.
FBI.
Yes, correct, the FBI. And Sal was a big comic.
Dude, I'm a wrestling freak. Come on.
Oh, yeah. Well, I met Sal a few times because he lived in my neighborhood. And I don't even know if his first name was Sal. His dad was my baseball coach, too. And,
really?
Yeah. Rob was on my team. His name was Rob Valente. I don't know if you'll ever listen to it. But, yeah, he was on my baseball team. He was... I lost touch as we got older. I wasn't really close to the guy or anything, but we knew each other by name, and I don't know. He's like a big shot when he's a senior. But
I was fortunate.
I met Sal a few times, and he was like one of the nicest guys in the world. It was like I was always hoping to get to the WWF because they did eventually bring FBI to the WWF.
Yeah, the FBI went, on a couple different occasions, but it was led by that douchebag Nunzio.
Nunzio. Yeah, but Sal never made the trip, and he's a real New Jersey Italian.
Oh no!
Yeah,
Perish the thought.
Well, it was weird because when I went to my baseball matches, and you might be interested in this, his father would talk about wrestling, and back then, this is before like they kind of came clean,
Yeah.
or at least to my knowledge, they'd come clean about the whole it being fake. I mean, everybody knew it was fake. Like most wrestling fans were like, if you listen to watch wrestling, you're like, wow, what kind of weirdo is that? He doesn't even know it's not real.
Yeah.
But his father would talk about it, and he liked other sports too. And it was so bizarre to me to hear this. And he would say, it's not real, but it's not fixed. It's fixed. It's not fake. That's what he used to say. It's fixed. It's not
I
fake.
think that's a more accurate statement.
Yeah, because most people don't know that what goes on in the ring is actually improvised. It's not choreographed, and it's illogical to assume it was choreographed, but it's not. And he would
It'd be
tell me,
impossible. As much as they work, I went to wrestling school for 2 weeks.
oh yeah,
Yeah, 2 weeks, and it kicked my freaking ass. And I was a good athlete in high school.
sure.
It was right before I came in the Army. I was in Vegas, and wrestling was huge there. WCW was there all the time. They had a restaurant in my mom's hotel where she worked at, the Excalibur.
Sure.
And so I got the fortunate privilege of meeting a lot of wrestlers, and I still maintain some of those relationships to this day, which is cool.
That's awesome.
But I went to wrestling school for 2 weeks, and it was just hell.
Murder.
And let me tell you, what they do is unbelievable. That's why I still watch, because the athletics involved is amazing.
I mean, it's tough to convince. Like, I don't watch much wrestling anymore. But I know what it takes. I understand. I did get into it in the late '90s again with my buddies. That was a big thing to do. Watch pay-per-views. I know.
I'm watching one tonight.
Yeah. Oh, really? Okay. The watch pay. We all pool our money again. Actually, we didn't all pool our money. I think I gave money to P-Way, and everybody else kind of ripped him off. And then, we used to watch. So I know if Steve's listening to this right now, he'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, we used to get. We saw them all. I mean, those were good years in the late '90s. But I think I'd love to get into wrestling another time, but I just want to get back to hockey, but because we don't have a hell of a lot to discuss about the hockey world. But I'd like to touch on the international ice hockey competition that I totally lost interest in since the United States is eliminated with 8 seconds to go.
Since it practically became like a pro hockey team beating up on like junior midgets. Yeah.
Well,
horrible.
Both the United States, Canada, and Sweden, generally considered probably 1, 2, and 3 in top teams, were eliminated. Maybe 1, 2, and 4. That allowed the Russians to play the Finns and the Czechs to play the Slovaks, which is a huge rivalry for those outside of Europe that don't know that they were one country at one time, but they are not very friendly to each other, and it goes a little deeper than hockey. It is not a friendly rivalry. But the
anywhere
Russians,
in that area, you can kind of understand.
I suppose, I guess you're forced together, I suppose. The Russians pounded the Finns, which is embarrassing in the United States, I think, 6-2. They move on to the final. The Slovaks, surprisingly, and they beat the United States during this tournament during the earlier rounds. They go over the Czechs 3-1. That I'm sure that made a lot of people in Prague really happy. The bronze game, the Czechs would go over the Finns 3-2, and just recently completed the Slovaks, probably going up with the Russians. They're probably expecting the biggest upset of all time. No, another 6-2 game by the Russians.
Big Red was on the move.
Yeah, that was it. You can't help but wonder if one of these, Canada, the United States, or even Sweden. I mean, Sweden's got good two players too. They have a great system, good league. If they would have made a game of it, sorry for Slovakia. And this, the quarterfinals were great, but the rest of it you can have maybe next year, and then the year after that we can watch the Olympics again, which our buddies Kane and the boys will be back and hopefully kicking Canadian ass.
I hope so.
Yeah, that would be nice. But
I got an update, by the way.
Let's hear your update.
Oh, it looks like my sweep's not going to happen.
Oh, I just saw your update.
The Coyotes scored again.
It's a tough game to win, asked Barry.
Damn you, Kyle.
Well, that would be really shocking if they could. And I tell you, I'd rather play the Coyotes than the Kings.
I'm sure you would.
Go Coyotes! You can do it. 4 in a row. It's been done before.
You're rooting against me now?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, you prick!
Listen, my team's in the Eastern Conference Finals. I'd rather see the Coyotes. Go Yotes. Is that what they call them over there?
I could
Yotes?
be Yotes, I guess, yeah.
Yotes. Yeah, with the howling and everything. God, thank God they changed those uniforms, man. Look like I don't know. I don't know those old uniforms they used to wear are ridiculous. Now they look halfway reasonable. But that's neither here nor there. World Championships are complete. Congratulations to Russia. Not Vladimir Putin, but congratulations to Russia and Ovi. Ovi got a championship. We could root for him. Yeah, we can root for Ovi.
Yeah.
Always happy. Because apparently his ultimate rival didn't have the guts to play for Team Canada. So Ovi got right in a plane, man.
Yeah, you know what? Why didn't Sid play, pussy?
It's a good point. He had plenty of time. I mean, another thing is, I don't remember guys getting eliminated in the second round and going. I only remember guys getting eliminated in the first round and going. And because it doesn't make much sense to go after the second round because you might get one game in and then into the quarterfinals. But for him to get up and go, I think it says a lot about him.
You know what? There's a difference. There's a difference between him, and here's the biggest difference I can think of between him and Sidney Crosby. Sidney Crosby tries to make himself a brand. The only thing that Ovechkin cares about is playing hockey.
Yeah.
It's all he wants to do. He just got out of a grueling series, and what does he do? He flies all the way to the mother country.
Yeah, sure.
And he plays in an international tournament.
Did he really have to do that?
No.
Absolutely not. Because I don't know how people get behind Crosby. Crosby's like this. He's like Shooter Gavin and Happy Gilmore. It's just, that's what he reminds me. He's just pretty with a smile, but just a. And I don't want to say he's a prick underneath because I don't know for a fact. But boy, if he's not a prick underneath, he's really acting like he's the greatest actor to play a prick under the facade of being a really nice guy.
Yeah, right. That's.
But congratulations, Oli. Congratulations to Russia. I guess we got to move on to this series. Well, they're up 2-0. The Kings could. Every Stanley Cup team gets tested. And, one of those tests might be coming back from a 2-0 lead.
Oh, come on. Let's not get crazy here. Even if they lose this game, which I still think they can win it, look, this series is still long.
If to go in the second with a 2-goal lead in the third, that's a lot, Dave.
I'm not saying that they're going to win this game, but I'm saying let's not get ahead of ourselves as far as being tested.
Tested.
If they drop the next game, then we can start talking about being tested.
Okay. Well, they did beat the first and second seed.
Test
passed.
If they lose this game, this matches their loss total from the last two rounds combined. I think we can give them a frickin' pass.
That's frickin' beautiful.
It's horrible.
Oh boy, what are we gonna do when the season ends? What do you mean?
I don't know. I think we can. I don't know. We can start talking about our feelings. I
think so.
That might work. We can sing "Kumbaya."
Hey. Maybe we can do roller hockey, huh?
Get my big ass on skates. I might not be able to stop me.
I've got an idea for the video portion and some roller hockey stuff. I thought it'd be pretty good.
Yeah, I think you told me about it.
I didn't tell me about it. Well, we'll keep that secret.
Yeah, that'll be great.
The live hockey scene's coming to a shot from the Point blog, straight to you, straight to your bedroom, straight to your live view on demand. How do you like that? I tell you something. I hate introducing myself to my own show. I hate it. Right. I want a chick to come in here and record our introduction. Wouldn't that be so much more badass?
Well, I have to say I already kind of thought of that, and on my show, not to plug my show in the middle of ours.
You got plenty of time to plug. Tell me the story now, Mister.
I had my daughter introduce me the other day.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, it was cute.
Yeah, that makes me want to sing "Kumbaya."
It was exhausting.
Was it?
Yeah. Oh my God! It was like pulling teeth from an ape that didn't want its teeth pulled. Oh.
What did she want to do? Sing Glee or something like that?
No, I couldn't get her to put two sentences together. She doesn't shut up any other time, but I couldn't get her to put these two sentences together properly. Oh my goodness, it was horrible.
Did they announce suspension for Prust yet? We didn't talk about that at all. The Prust.
Nope, didn't even.
I was wondering. I'll be honest with you. I think he should be suspended. He targeted the head. I think it'd be consistent with what Shanahan's done in the last two games. The last two suspensions. I don't know how he gets around it. I don't think it was deliberate. I think he just meant to kind of get into it and just got overzealous. But it was deliberate, but it wasn't deliberate in the sense I don't think he meant to hurt him. And I think if they had, if they didn't have to wear suits of armor under there, Zubris would probably be okay. I'm not buying the Zubris dived. I think the Devils are trying to sell stuff to the ref. Yeah. But I'm not buying the Zubris. He really looked like he got it.
Well, if you ask Tortorella, they're all diving, and they're all selling everything to the refs. But it's Tortorella. So, I mean,
I love the guy to death. But he does embarrass himself from time to time.
He's not a guy you'd want to have dinner with.
I would. No, that's not true.
I wouldn't.
I would.
He just seems too surly, and he might punch your mother in the face, and you don't want to deal with that stuff.
I do. I definitely
Get in the penalty box. This macaroni's overcooked.
Oh, sorry about that. What the hell was that? Did you do something?
No, I didn't do nothing. What happened?
I don't know. I tried to be cute and put something on. Maybe this will work. Have you seen this?
I hear nothing.
You don't hear anything?
I hear nothing.
I wonder if they're hearing it.
I'll
send you that. Did you hear that?
No, I hear nothing.
Terrible. My effect thing doesn't even work. What's with new technology? Well, I gotta go back and check that, because if it did work, we definitely got to.
2 cups and a string, my friend. 2 cups
two cups and a string. But you gotta admit, our sound quality is way better.
Yeah, it does sound.
Even though I'm like exhausted and haven't slept, and I was carrying 200-pound men for 100-yard sprints and trying to wade through their fake blood to put on a pressure dressing.
And then you went and did drill.
Yeah, then I went and drilled. No, it was a good drill weekend this weekend, but I am whipped, I am beat, I am done. You know what really stinks too? Sweden lost, and I couldn't even bring this guy Chris the Angry Swede on.
Well, I say we have him on anyway, and he can just cuss about. Let's have him on every day and let him just swear about how the Swedes didn't win.
That's pretty much all he does in his regular time.
That's fantastic.
He's an angry Swedish kid. He's like 18 years old, and he's mad. And he's mad.
Let's get him all liquored up and bring him on.
Yeah, I don't think it would be too hard. He's definitely game.
By the way, people, we're over here in Germany. We can get an 18-year-old liquored up. It's okay.
And he's Swedish. And that sounded really gay, actually.
A little bit.
No, he's a funny guy. I met him online.
Party time.
No, he's angry, dude. He's like the Swedish chef. If he had the Swedish chef did have a knife. Come to think of it. He's not Ordy. He's all man, and he'll let you know.
Please tell me he's like 5'4", because that would be awesome.
I don't know. I can't tell because he's basically an online friend.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, it's just like I talk to him and I say like, "Hey, boy, thanks for sending your favorite son over to New York. He sucks." He's just as angry as I was when I was a kid.
I think we all were.
Yeah, I was really angry for no reason too. But he's really angry.
Yeah, I wanted to fight the world, man.
Yeah. Well, I think he does too. I think he's doing a good job at it. He's like, he sucks, and Swedish pilots are the best. That's what he tells me. And I'm like, well, maybe they are. And if they ever get in a war, they'll probably all put American pilots to shame.
Or yeah.
Yeah, that's Chris the Angry Swede. We got to get him on one day. It was too bad Sweden lost, actually. I was hoping they'd win, and then he could come on and we could show how angry he was. But now I'm sure he wouldn't want to show his face because he's living in a world of shame in Sweden.
He's living in a box of emotion.
David, we are dragging this shit out. Do you have anything else for us here?
I do. I might be able to save us here. I got two. I got one quick story and one good story. First, our future overlord of the Earth, Mark Zuckerberg, got married this weekend. Let's give him a happy nuptials to his longtime girlfriend.
You know what? And if I could make one of those ka-ching sounds for his wife, I'd give it. I'd say leave him next week.
Yeah, right.
You scored. Shoots and score.
She's been with him since Harvard. So,
has she? Has she? Well, you know what? She could take every day. That means she deserves more than half what he made.
Oh, I'm sure she has stock options.
Because she supported him. Yeah, she showed up to the dinner ball. She supported him.
Don't let your bitterness triple.
You're absolutely right.
Future overlord. Okay,
you're absolutely right. Okay, hey, Mr. Zuckerberg, you are in for the time of your life. Marriage is so great and it's so rewarding. And just remember, if you never disagree or do with anything yourself, just kind of go along in a line and toe it. You'll just be as happy as pigs in shit. You idiot. Getting married. What a moron.
Make sure you change your status update, buddy.
That was just about as pointless as sending $1 million to Newark. That we did a year ago. I wonder where that money is.
Okay, I'm before you have a complete conniption, I'm gonna move on. And this should make you happy. It's a New York story.
Yo, I love New York stories.
It's a story about a father giving a gift to a son.
What did he give his son?
You see, sometimes it's okay if a father gives a son a gift and then he sells it. Would you agree? That it can be okay.
I don't know. That's kind of weird, Dave. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. If you fall on hard times and let's say you have your dad's watch and you go and you sell it for some money so you don't get...
So we're not talking like next week. Like, it's not like, Dad, hey, here you go. And I'm like, I'm going to the pawn shop so I can support my heroin habit.
Nothing.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, but now here's where things get interesting. This son happens to be the son of maybe the greatest linebacker in the history of the NFL, Lawrence Taylor.
Oh, no kidding.
Lawrence Taylor's son went ahead and put his dad's Super Bowl ring on eBay.
That was nice of him.
Wasn't it?
Sure. But Lawrence has fallen on hard times, if I'm not mistaken.
Very hard times.
Yes.
Yeah. A current New York Giant player, Osi Umenyiora, being the media whore that most football players are nowadays, decided that he wanted in on this action.
Okay.
So not only did he say that he would buy the ring, but he would only buy the ring if 500,000 people followed him on Twitter. And he would buy the ring and present it back to Lawrence Taylor, which is very magnanimous of him. I'm sure.
I think that's kind of nice. I mean,
yeah, but come on, you know how many Twitter followers he ended up getting?
How many?
52,000.
Oh, wow. Now he's got to buy it either way.
He didn't buy it. No. He was only going to buy it if he got the followers.
He didn't do it anyway?
So he didn't buy it. The kid who sold the ring got it appraised for $70,000 to $100,000. Do you want to know what this thing sold for last night?
20 grand. Just
$230,000.
$230,000.
Yes. In that kid's pocket, and while LT is probably in a hotel room with an underage prostitute.
Sure. Well, he needs that to pay for his father's lawyers.
Yeah, right. And they are many.
Yeah, he needs that for his father's lawyers. That's fantastic news, and it's a real heartwarming New York story. Well, it's really funny how one of the greatest athletes that ever raced the field at a New York field in all sports has just become a complete friggin' disaster. I mean, he's got to be like 50 years old now too. I mean, grow up. I love LT too. I really do.
There wasn't too many more players more vicious than he was when he was on the field.
No doubt. I mean, he's talented. He changed the game, man. I mean, he
did.
Yeah, he really did. You know, my grandparents were season ticket holders. You know that?
Really?
Yeah, I actually I met by accident the 1990 Super Bowl team. I went to Fairleigh Dickinson where they practiced, and they knew George Young, who was the old general manager. He's passed now. And I met Phil Simms and all those guys back then when I was 13. And here's a story that really gets people like this. Like, I could give a damn about football, and I met just like, I mean, what I got to do was like a dream for most people.
Yeah.
And don't you ever notice how it's like, well, I don't like hockey, and the guy gets tickets to the Stanley Cup final.
Right.
It's never the guy that really wants them. It's always like some guy. Well, I guess I'll just go to these World Series, see what this baseball thing's about.
Yeah, it's horrible.
It's always good.
Just sell it on StubHub, I guess. I don't know.
Davey. Do you have anything else? And if you do, I'm willing.
No, I think that's about it. I got a great stat, but I'd like to hold it off until the Kings finish off.
I know your stat, and I think you might be able to hold it off. So yeah, just keep that in mind.
But that's what we call a cliffhanger in the biz. So we'll get our 6 or 7 listeners coming back.
And if you found this episode as unexciting as I have, maybe.
Hey man, I'm entertained.
You were better.
Shoot us in the foot.
You were better than me.
Don't shoot us in the foot.
We sucked this one. Come on.
No, I never suck.
No, you didn't.
Awesome.
You didn't because
you were good.
I was terrible.
Don't do that to yourself.
I'm gonna go cry. I'm gonna go cry in my beer. And cry. By the way, I couldn't cry at all. I got off tomorrow.
If we talked for another hour, you'd be talking to the 29-year-old version of Dead on Dave.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's right. I apologize. Happy birthday, everybody. On May, that's right. On May 21st, Monday, here in Europe, which is only an hour if you're listening to this broadcast live. Wait a minute. You can't listen to this broadcast live. Mr. Dead on Dave will be 29 Jahr alt 29 years old. Congratulations, Dave, and a very happy birthday to you. And I hope you enjoy your birthday with your very, very wonderful daughter and your beautiful wife.
Thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and many more, and many more.
I'm just hoping. I'm just trying to get day by day, you know.
I know it's difficult, but you're going to be around because I don't know anybody that will sit around and do this with me. So if you have to pull strings with the big man, please stick around.
I'll do what I can.
Oh,
I make no promises.
I appreciate this. I think it's time for John Freeman Music. JohnFreemanMusic.com. 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 Yes, John Freeman is a musician, and he's this fantastic talent, and I grew up with him. And he's put his own record together, and you can get some of that samples on JohnFreemanMusic.com.
Where was that? Where was that website again?
I think it was called JohnFreemanMusic.com.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
He's going to be the official musician from A Shot from the Point, coming very soon, working very hard. I've heard some of the demos. I'm really impressed. And the price is right. It's free. So he is a professional, and he's hooking us up for free. Hopefully we can get that going and get some music that is less interesting to, I don't know, Columbia Records. You know?
Yeah, right.
That I think would be really great. And I'm always I put in my blog, if anybody has any ideas for the show or want to participate and what have you, I'm all for ideas. It just better be half decent and much better than the way I handled the show so far.
Yeah, we want to hear from everybody. You
Absolutely.
know, we're trying to develop the shows, and we're having fun on our own, but we'd love to know that we're entertaining you guys just a little bit. So let us know how we're doing.
Let us know. I do get stuff from YouTube every so often. It's always complimentary. And there's the occasional "you're a fag," but I can take it.
Yeah, but that's just from me.
Oh, okay.
I send you those anyway. So that's okay.
You got any plugs for us, Dave?
Of course I have plugs. I have all kinds of plugs.
All right.
I got my book still out there. It's about to become an iBook and ebook, The Chronicles of L.J. Stevens. It's a great read. It's short, it's sweet, and it's funny. I hope you all enjoy that. And of course, you can catch me on This Guy's Take on It, where I do a daily little show. It's nowhere near as long as this one, but it's still every bit as entertaining. And that'll about do it.
It's pure geekery, right?
Well, it's sports, it's geek, it's culture. It's pretty much anything that I care about on that day. And I'll try to have a lot of fun with it. And, basically just try to connect with the world,
This Guy's Take on It, please check it out. You can. What is that podcast thing you're trying to encourage me to go to? What's the name of that?
It's called Podbean.
Podbean. It's a weird name, but check it out. You can actually get your own podcast going and get it on iTunes.
For free.
Absolutely for free. I haven't sent me a bill yet, and I'm used to getting those. I think, so we got JohnFreemanMusic.com, Chronicles of L.J. Stevens. Hey, real quick question on L.J. Stevens. Is that a fantasy book? Like, what's the...
Yeah, it is. It's a fantasy book that, I honestly, here's the reality. I was sitting on the toilet, and I thought of a great thing of, would it be great to talk about a character that simply couldn't lie? Not necessarily tell the truth with everything he says.
I see.
But just, he's not able to lie.
Oh,
I thought it was unique, and I wanted to set it in a kind of modern but rustic type world. So it's kind of post-apocalyptic, and it's a very interesting book, and it takes a bunch of different twists. But fantasy, if you like
zombie apocalypse.
No, he hasn't met any zombies yet.
Not much point to lie to a zombie.
No.
Maybe.
Brains.
There's no point.
No point. Because they can smell the truth in your brain.
Yeah, sure. Hey, should I sign off with my super radio voice?
Yes. I am very much in agreement with that.
Okay, I'm going to sign off with my super radio voice. Thanks, everybody. Let's talk to Super Radio Guy. That was another episode of Shot from the Point. I hope you tune into more podcasts. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This has been Dead on Dave and Tommy C signing off from A Shot from the Point. Everybody, have a fantastic hockey weekend and enjoy the games.
And shut up, Kyle.
Bye, Kyle. Bye. Peace.